Building Your Empire with SophieZo. I'm Sophie Zolman, your host and the owner and CEO of SophieZo Next Level Business Support. And today we're going to talk about the 5 questions you need to ask yourself before you start scaling your business. Scaling is an ongoing process, and while most people, start a business and scale it, you scale it so far or you grow it so far, and then it's more about truly scaling it instead of just growing it, instead of just making it bigger. We're going to scale it on a holistic and overall level. So once you've hit success by your terms, your definition, and you're maxed out and you can't do it all to grow the business anymore because your bandwidth is taken up, your life is taken up, and all those things. But you want to get it bigger. You want to scale it to potentially exponential levels. Like I said, scaling and success are your definition defined by you. So if you're ready to scale beyond where you're at and do it in a sustainable, like rinse and repeat, so to speak, kind of way, you need to kind of sit down with yourself and have a conversation. I talk to myself all the time on these things, and I also talk to the universe. I talk to mentors and coaches, etc. But first, start with yourself, because ultimately you can only scale if you're really prepared for this mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, all those different things. So let's talk about the 5 questions you need to start with. And you can do these mentally. You can journal these. You can, like record it and even maybe put it in, do it through Otter AI so that it's going to record it your voice and it's going to transcribe it for you so you can read through it and see how it resonates with you after. But here are 5 questions to ask yourself before you scale so that you can be prepared and set the plan of action to scale sustainably, easily, gracefully, etc. First and foremost, what are your priorities? You're the only one that can answer this question. There's no wrong answers here because your priorities are your priorities. And you start your business and you grow it for your own reasons, your own priorities. So, that could be money, could be more time, could be sense of fulfillment, more fulfillment, could be creating a legacy that continues on long after you. It could be having an impact, helping more people. Whatever the case is, you need to identify your priorities. And once you've identified those priorities, if you can prioritize your priorities to show yourself what's most important, because you have your priorities and then you have your top priorities that are the most important ones. And that's where you're going to start when it comes to creating the plan, the strategy, and taking action to scale your business. Number 2, you need to look at where you want your business to be in 6 months, a year, 5 years, and so on. Because scaling your business is a combination of short-term and long-term goals and strategies in business building. Overnight success, I believe, is bullshit. Hustle grind is bullshit. If you're going to do this, you need to do it in a way that works for you. And generally speaking, based on your priorities, it's going to be more about ease and grace, time and space, doing it with sustainability and time for yourself, all those different things. So you got to look at where you want to be in 6 months, a year, 5 years, and maybe even 10 years, depending upon where you are in your business and your life and how long you want to do this. Because there are a lot of people out there that say, oh, I'll never retire. I'm going to do this until I die. And that's great. If you want to be that person, that's your definition of success, scaling, and doing what you want to do. Other people are like, I would like to retire. I would like to leave that legacy. I would like to be able to exit the business and have an exit strategy to sell it, to do whatever with it so that you can step out of it and go on with your life in a different way. Third, you need to know how you're going to measure your success. After you define your success, you define your priorities, you define what those things look like in 6 months, a year, 5 years, etc. And then you got to look at how are you going to measure it? Because It's all good and well to pick goals, to pick strategies, to pick a plan, and to implement it, but it does you no good if you're not measuring its success, because throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping something works is not the way to go. This needs to be strategic, it needs to be measurable. Even if your goal is, I want to retire in 5 years, have a house on the beach, and go to Harry Potter land every day. Sound familiar? I don't know about 5 years, but I do want the house on the beach, and I do want to go to Harry Potter land whenever I want. And that beach house for me is in Florida, near Orlando, where Harry Potter land lives. It's not out in California, where the California version is. It's the Florida version. So, you've got to set the long term, or I mean, you've got to have KPIs and metrics that you can measure. So, that's, you're basically, that's kind of like your marketing strategies. You've got to be tracking that, your email marketing, your blogs, your SEO, your ads, your sales, all of those different things, your funnels that lead to sales, your lead generation, the conversion rates on all of those things, because ultimately to get to that next level, to scale your business ongoing, sustainably, and easily, you've got to have the metrics in place to know what works and what doesn't work, so that you can maximize what works and or create other initiatives that are similar that will potentially have that same success. Fine tune or tweak the things that aren't working to see if you can get them working, or scrap them altogether. Now, here's question number 4, and it's similar to number 2, except this one's about you. Where do you want to be in 6 months, a year, 5 years? Like I said, for me, my business needs to be at a certain point so my life can be at a certain point. Right now, I am full-time in my business. I mean, I have my team and I delegate everything to them and I take my time off and I do my things. But ultimately, what is my end goal for me? The beach house and Harry Potter land is not really an end goal, because that's something I can achieve now while I'm in the business, running it, working in it, taking care of my clients myself, being the face of the company, those different things. But beyond that, where do I want to be? Where do you want to be? Do you want to retire at some point? Do you want to be, strictly a family oriented person where all you do is spend time with your family, your grandkids? I've got that cutie patootie grandson that I want to be a part of his life for as long as possible. And whether that's close by here in Nashville where I'm at, or flying in whenever I feel like it, when I'm in my beach house in Florida, that's what I've got to look at. I've got to look at what it takes for me to be able to get even beyond the beach house in Florida and the regular visits to Harry Potter land, because there is more that I'm going to want after that. There is more that I do want after that. Eventually, I do want to retire. I do want to create an exit strategy for my business, whether that's selling it, whether that's passing it down to my daughter, to my son, to, someone like that. I've got to be able to set goals for myself in my personal life. And remember, it's your dream, it's your life. Dream big. Yes, you need to be realistic. I mean, we don't want to go out there and say, I want to retire on the moon. Right now, that's not a thing. Probably will never be a thing. So, keep it real, keep it really true to your heart and soul. That's where this question's answer comes from, your heart and your soul. What will make your heart sing, your soul, peaceful and happy, and all of those things, so that you are just living the Zen life, as I call it. And then last but not least, because this is key to the first 4 questions and to the path you're going to be on to scale your business, is what do you need to get there? Is it a bigger team? Is it more tech? Is it better tech? Is it different marketing strategies? Is it a different business model? Is it a better business model? More products, more services? What do you need to get to those goals, both the business goals and your personal goals? Because here's the thing, you don't want to kill yourself getting there. Been there, done that. Doesn't work. Because if you try the hustle grind mode and you kill yourself getting there, and you get there and you're exhausted and you don't even feel like going to Harry Potter land or the beach. You just want to crawl back in bed. So, what do you need to get there? The biggest thing is a support system. That's a team big enough to help you implement the strategies it's going to take to get there, to monitor the metrics, to track it, to keep you on board and going strong with everything, making sure you're delegating everything you can, etc. Now, it can be, you might need to upgrade your tech. You might need to upgrade your business model. You might even need to upgrade your brand. Been there, done that. Sometimes you have to not reinvent yourself per se, which is doable if that's what you want to do. I mean, if you want to change it all together, that's a part of this process. But if you just want to modify it, modernize it, whatever the case may be, you can do that. And you need to look at those things to figure out what you need to achieve your 6 month, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year goals for the business, for yourself, and they need to kind of gel and mesh together. So that's where you need to start when it comes to you've hit your wall of success and want more, but there's no more capacity, there's no more bandwidth, and you don't want to lose that fire, that passion that you have for your business because you're stuck in a certain place and you want more. And if you don't want more, if you want to be there, guess what? That's okay too. If you're not ready to scale, don't want to scale, you don't have to. You can do you. Do what works for you. Scaling is such a great thing to do because you can actually scale with less work for yourself and more time for other things when you do it in the ease and grace, time and space way. So there you have it. Those are your 5 questions to ask yourself before you decide to scale so that you know what the purpose is of scaling, how to measure it, how to get there, all of those things. Thanks for stopping by today. I'll see you all again next week.